Wednesday evening as we get ready and prepare for Tropical Storm Debby here in the Piedmont. Wanted to give you an opportunity to get some live information and really figure out what the storm is going to mean for us here in the Piedmont Triad. So we have a lot to talk about. We're going to start with the basics, then go into some of the details. Number one, we are looking at a pretty nasty day of weather, and this is mostly going to be a one-day weather event for us. Earlier in the week, it looked like it could actually span for several days, but now we're mostly highlighting Thursday, maybe as far as into Friday morning. We're talking about all-day rainfall here. We are impacting this with torrential rain, possible flooding across the area, actually some likely flooding too. And you got to be alert. Watch out for those roadways. High water in spots is going to really be a problem as we go into your Thursday. This is what we're looking at on the wide view. So as of 9 o'clock on Wednesday, here is where Debby was. Now, earlier in the day, it was actually quite a weak storm and fairly disorganized. What happened was that some dry air got into the middle of the system and kind of disrupted it a bit. Dry air kind of acts like kryptonite, and it really breaks apart those downpours and showers and reduces them to rubble. Now we're starting to see that it's gained steam yet again. As of the 8 o'clock advisory from the National Hurricane Center, they say it has winds at about 60 miles per hour. Now, that speed would be very close to the center here, which is still close to Charleston, South Carolina. Notice the rain extends pretty far away though, north of Wilmington. That's where the heaviest rain bands are right now. Myrtle Beach is right here. They're seeing some gusts around 30 miles per hour at the moment. The current position is just 40 miles east-southeast of Charleston, and you can kind of see that motion right about here would be the storm center, well south of Myrtle Beach at this time. Now, they do have flash flood warnings ongoing for a good portion of the South Carolina coast, also parts of the Cape Fear region, as they call it, right here in the Wilmington area. All of those counties are outlined in green right now, which indicate flash flooding is happening. Those warnings are not the only ones that folks have been subjected to down here tonight. Unfortunately, there have been several tornado warnings and in fact several actual tornadoes too. At the time of this recording, this is one for Bladen County, North Carolina. If you're familiar with White Lake and Elizabethtown, that's where this storm would be headed here. It's moving just off to the north and west of the city of Wilmington. It already rolled through parts of Pender County, and the type of thing we look for in tropical systems is a little bit of rotation in some of those rain bands. That's what's happening right here near Carver's, and you can see that that is going to continue pretty quickly up the road. Earlier today, there were a couple tornadoes reported in places like Sampson County, just there, and another one here in the Maple Ridge area of Pender County. But there are also several waterspouts too. There are so many hazards when it comes to tropical systems, but with this one, the rain and the flooding is the one that we are concerned with the most. Take a look here. This is the 9 o'clock radar across the state. Here we are in our Piedmont Triad area of North Carolina, the Raleigh area, and the Triangle already seeing some of those rain bands moving our way. And get used to this. The radar moves backwards with tropical systems because they come at us from east to west rather than west to east. Keep that in mind as you're tracking from home using the WFMY News 2 radar app. Now, throughout the day today, these bands have proven to be pretty prolific. About 5, 6, 7 inches estimated on radar just today. That's the kind of day we are expecting for tomorrow right here in the Piedmont. And it is not something that's normal. It's not something that's common, but it is something we're expecting with the system headed our way for tomorrow. The wind is another component of the storm, but it's not a big one. We often think about it with hurricanes and tropical storm. How high are the winds? It's not likely to be a big problem in this storm system. I'll show you an example. The storm is already very close to the coastline. They're only having wind gusts at this hour of 20, 26 miles per hour along the coastline of South Carolina. Wilmington is popping a 44 mile per hour wind gust. This is what we can expect here for your Thursday. On again, off again wind gusts that could get up to around 30 miles per hour and maybe as high as 40. But that'll be the exception rather than the rule. The main big deal for us is that rainfall. And look at the track. This is not something we often see. It's going to come in across South Carolina. That happens by really early tomorrow morning, overnight tonight. Then it goes inland. This is only showing the storm center. The center of the storm will be here right around 2 a.m. Friday morning, and then it scoots north of us. Almost all of the rain with this system, with Debby, is on the north side. So the back edge of the system is going to be pretty dry. Almost all of the rainfall is going to come as we go into the day on Thursday. So let's break it down. This would be 1 a.m. Thursday morning. We're looking ahead toward 4 and 5 and 6 a.m. there. These are the first of the really heavy rain bands that move into our area. So once you're waking up, you're getting ready to go as you usually would. This is when conditions start to go downhill. By around 6, 7, 8, and 9 o'clock on Thursday morning, we start to get some of these very heavy rain bands. And remember, not only is the rain coming down in sheets, but it could also be coming down sideways at times. That's something that you do not want to be in. If you can avoid it, if you have the flexibility to maybe work from home, a remote situation, or just to, cut the day a little bit short, relax. Tomorrow would be the day to do that, to be sure. Just look at this. Our futurecast is packed with torrential rain. This is about 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I put the wind direction on here as well. There will be gusty winds, as we said, mostly of 20 to 30 miles per hour. Fast forward, now we're at 5 o'clock on Thursday evening, still dealing with all of this torrential rainfall. So you get the idea, there's just not enough places to put all of this rainfall. We're talking about, in our forecast, 3 to maybe 6 inches of rain for tomorrow alone. That's about 1 to 2 months worth of rainfall just in a single day. A typical month around here sees about 3 to 4 inches of rain. That is going to be too much to handle. That would be 10 p.m. Here is 2 a.m. on Friday. That's the storm center. You see that swirling motion, and away it goes. By 5 and 6 a.m. on Friday, we should be in the clear from rainfall. In fact, we'll guarantee it by lunchtime on Friday, there will be no more rain. But here's the problem. All of this falls tomorrow on your Thursday, and this is simply too much to deal with. Well over 6 inches still on the way for parts of southeast North Carolina and the Sandhills. Around here, about 3 to 6 or so. And keep in mind, this total has gone up and increased in recent days for our western counties. The storm has continued to trend west, closer to us. This is flash flood material, to be sure. In fact, we're seeing something we don't often see with this particular storm. It's called the flash flood risk. It's a scale that goes from 1 being low to 4 being high. We get 1s and 2s all the time. We haven't had a 4, a high risk of flash flooding, in years. And the last one I can remember was back in 2018 when we saw Hurricanes Florence and Hurricane Michael. If you've been here a while, you remember those were really bad storms for our area in particular. This means business. You want to take it seriously. There will be flooding across our area. And best thing you can do is just to stay off the roads, or if you're out there, make sure you're not driving through any of that flood water. You think you can do it, you really just can't do it. The cars will not be a match for moving water across the area. 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts are possible, as we said, but overall, the wind should not be a huge factor. Still be prepared for a power outage in spots because a couple of trees are likely to come down even so. The tornado risk for tomorrow, there is a low one, I have to tell you. There's a low risk of tornadoes, mostly from Greensboro to Raleigh, Reidsville included, Caswell, Elements, Burlington, Siler City included. There's a higher risk of tornadoes as you go farther into eastern North Carolina, across the Triangle area and over toward Rocky Mount. To sum it all up for you, here's what we're dealing with. It's tropical rainfall. Tomorrow is the main event. It continues a little bit into Friday morning, and we're dealing with all this, 3 to 6 inches of rain. It starts really in the overnight hours. It continues basically all day on your Thursday, and it'll start to taper off probably by around 7 or 8 o'clock on Friday morning. Now, flooding is going to happen.